Welcome to Real Talk with your host, Dr. Valencia Campbell, on the Big Talker 1580.
Hello, and welcome to Real Talk. I'm Dr. Valencia Campbell, and I'm your host. Real Talk is a weekly radio show designed to address some of the most challenging issues confronting our community, including substance abuse and treatment, finding mentors, the real story about getting into law school or medical school, personal experiences with trying to get a criminal pardon, and so forth. Today's program focuses on the student experience, studying abroad. My guests today are Miss Tiara Darnell and Miss Anika Campbell. Anika is a recent graduate of Massachusetts Institute of Technology. She holds a Bachelor's of Science in Civil and Environmental Engineering with a minor in Spanish. She is currently teaching in a private school in the district. Soon after her study abroad, she was selected to participate with only 18 other students from around the world in Harvard's Crimson Summer Exchange Program. That program brings Western University fellows and Chinese students together to bridge cultures. She was a teaching fellow at universities in Hong Kong, Beijing, and Mingyang. She enjoys tutoring, ice skating, and acting. Tiara is an alumni of Bishop McNamara High School and recent graduate of the University of Maryland College with a Bachelor's of Art in Modern World History, a minor in Spanish language and culture, and a certificate in Latin American Studies. She's been to 13 countries and will add Morocco to that list in March when she begins service as a Peace Corps volunteer. Tiara will focus on youth development, including teaching English, tutoring, and young women's empowerment. After returning from Morocco, she plans to continue her studies in Arabic and began learning Portuguese. She will pursue graduate studies in human geography. Welcome to the show. I am so excited and thrilled to have both of you joining me today to offer a glimpse into your exciting experience being immersed in the culture of another country. I do hope that more young people will take advantage of these amazing opportunities and that my listening parents will encourage their children to do so as well. Let's begin by talking about how each of you became interested in study abroad opportunities at your university. Anika?
Well, I became interested in study abroad in high school when my teacher, Miss Bazo, told us about her experience studying abroad in Spain. And I was really excited about the opportunity, so I made sure that whatever university I applied to also had that program.
Tiara, how about you?
I went to Bishop McNamara, and we had a student trip to Africa back in 2005 because McNamara's sister school is in Uganda. So that was really kind of my first experience going abroad, and it made me want to do it again. So that's how I became interested in going abroad in college. So this need to travel really started for me back in high school.
That is wonderful. So what places were of interest to you, and tell us why with your study abroad program?
I went to Costa Rica first because I wanted to improve Spanish language. I started learning Spanish in 7th grade and just really wanted to get serious about it. And I felt like Costa Rica was the best place for me to do that because it was not too far from home and a pretty stable country, and from what I'd heard, really nice people, and that's all true. And then I went abroad again the following year to Israel, and that was just an amazing experience because it kind of happened spontaneously. I didn't think that I was going to be able to go, and a number of fortunate events happened, and I was able to, and I learned so much more about the Israeli-Palestinian conflict and about Judaism and just so many things that I had never even realized that I didn't know until I got there. And
that is great. Anika, tell us how you became interested in the place that you chose. Which place, I should say, that you were interested in?
Well, I knew that I really wanted to go to Spain because I wanted to practice my Spanish as well and kind of pick that up. And I also wanted the opportunity to see the rest of Europe. So that's how I kind of got attracted to Spain.
So, Anika, what did the university require for your participation?
They required that, well, there was an application and you had to submit recommendations as well as a personal statement, and you had to be able to show that you could complete your degree in the required amount of time while studying abroad.
So, Tiara, what issues did you have with respect to requirements at your University of Maryland?
I didn't actually have too many problems. I guess the biggest one would just be convincing my dad to let me go, because I was worried about money. I think a lot of students are always worried about how much it's going to cost, and one of the great things about University of Maryland is they have a really great team of people working at their study abroad office, and one of the biggest myths that they bust is that we do have money to give you, and we want people to apply for scholarships. So I really tell everyone, scholarship money is there, and that's really what got me to Israel, because like I said, I never thought that I'd be able to go there, especially after just coming back from Costa Rica. So did you... Sorry?
Excuse me. So did you have to get advisor approval, though, from the university to be able to participate in the program?
No. I mean, well, yes and no. The program that I went on was the University of Maryland program, both of them, so it was already approved by the university.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. That's what I was trying to figure out so our listeners would know, based on the schools that we're talking about, what might be involved. What plans, Anika, did you personally have to make as far as, for example, deciding which university you would actually go to in Spain?
So the program was already set up by MIT, so I didn't have to decide the universities, but I did have to determine what classes I was going to take and figure out whether or not the school would count them. And so I had to go run around and talk to different professors and see if the course was equivalent.
And Tiara, what was your experience like in terms of plans to go abroad to a particular university? Did you have to decide which one you would actually be studying while you were there?
No, I actually had 3 different locations in Costa Rica that I could choose from, and actually 2 of the 3 were at actual universities in Costa Rica, so the program was pretty much set for me and for what I wanted to study and where it would be, so I didn't have to worry about looking at different universities.
Okay. Now, Anika, tell us what were some of the requirements that you had to meet in order to stay in your case, in Spain?
Well, I had to get a visa, and that's pretty straightforward around here because you can just go into Washington, D.C., go to the embassy of whatever country you're going to study in and get the information from them. But I also had to show that I was able to support myself financially, so either that's through scholarship or your parents saying that they will support you in case of some outstanding incident or your own funds.
Okay. Now, Tiara, what was the situation for you with going to Costa Rica? Did you have to get involved as far as I know you had to probably get a visa, but did you also have other requirements?
No, just the visa was really the only requirement. Costa Rica is pretty lax when it comes to rules. It's not like Western Europe or Israel.
So you mean you could actually try to stay there and not come back and see us again?
Well, I mean, there's a student visa, and that lasts for a couple of months, and there's a tourist visa, which, I got in that last 90 days, but I'd already traveled to another country, so I didn't break any rules, but I'm sure if I wanted to stay a little bit longer, I could have extended my visa.
That's really fantastic. Did you get to talk to a host family prior to leaving this country, Tiara?
I did. Most students don't get to talk to their host families before, but I was really persistent because I was leaving before Christmas and I wanted to, or after Christmas, and I wanted to call my host family and wish them a Merry Christmas just to, kind of get the ball rolling. So it was really nice to meet, well, quote unquote, meet my host mom beforehand.
Anika, did you get to talk to your host family prior to leaving?
So I'm the other group where I didn't. I arrived in Spain in the airport, and they hand me a little packet with the address and tell me to get in a taxi and go find her.
Wow, that's kind of scary. And I'm way older than you all both, but like I said, I guess there's something to be said for youth. Tell us a little bit about what your first thoughts were when you stepped off of the plane. Anika, tell us a little bit about that.
My first thought was, whoa, there's signs in English because the airport did have signs that were both Spanish and English. And I was like, okay, I think I can find my way, but I couldn't. And I had to go get help at the information booth and try my Spanish out on somebody. But they were really helpful and nice, so I was kind of excited to be there.
So, Tiara, what were your first thoughts when you stepped off the plane in Costa Rica?
A mix of things. My flight arrived late, so I thought my host family might not have gotten the message, and I was afraid they wouldn't be there to pick me up. But just coming in to Costa Rica in the morning, I was able to see like the mountains and volcanoes. So my first thought were just about the geography of it and how beautiful it looked from above.
So were the people friendly?
Yeah, I mean, in the airport, everybody's smiling, and I think a lot of people were, I could see, sad to leave Costa Rica just from the people that were coming in, and everybody was really willing to help me when I first got there. The signs, they were in Spanish and English, so I guess I was a little bit lucky there. But, yeah, the Costa Rican people are very friendly, and I think there's a reason that they get voted, like, happiest people in the world almost every year.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about, Anika, what was your most memorable experience staying in Spain?
My most memorable experience was my trip to Barcelona. I got to meet my boss at my internship's niece, and we had coffee on La Rambla, which is like the big street, and there's like palm trees everywhere, and it's super beautiful. And then after coffee, I go to have dinner, and there's a belly dancing show. And then, like, just so many different things happened to me just in 4 days. I went to a free concert that it wasn't free, but somebody just hands me a free ticket.
Wow.
Because I'm standing there, and they have extra ones. And it was just awesome, just because you get to do so many things, and you're just open to being surprised, I guess.
So, Tiara, what about you? What was your most memorable experience?
I think my most memorable experience was actually outside of Costa Rica. I went to Guatemala for spring break, and during that week, it was like Holy Week there, so all the colors and the carnivals that they had and just the people and dancing and food, everything was just really, it's something I'd never seen before. And that whole trip, I mean, I did so many amazing things. I got to climb an active volcano, and I went to some ancient Mayan ruins, and this is things that I'd seen in, a textbook, but I never actually experienced for myself. So seeing it and being there with friends really made it enjoyable, and it's something I'll never forget.
That is truly amazing that you all have had so much to talk about in your youth.